Welcome. Wyvern is absolutely insane. Lightning Oil Barrage wrecks the campaign, while simply pouncing and rending forward destroys everything on the way to bosses. You only need 3 skills and you're set. In this video, we're going to break down the Wyvern journey from Act 1 to the end game and give you the smoothest campaign playthrough ever. First, the most important thing, unlocking the Wyvern form in Act 1. You land at the shores, pick up your first talisman, and choose bear form, because the maul gives you rage, and that's just the ultimate damage stacker in the beginning. The first skill you pick up from Renly will be the Furious Slam. This gives us Volcano, Furious Slam, and Maul to play with, to destroy Beira and the stupid worm. Summon the Volcano in the beginning of the fight, then Maul to build up rage, and go for the empowered Furious Slam. This leads us to our first support gem. And you want to choose them smart, because you're going to transition from the Maul over to the Wyvern skill at level 5. The first thing you want is rapid attacks, so you get more rage faster. And you also want rapid attacks on the Furious Slam, otherwise it's a very slow, cumbersome ability. Second support on the Furious Slam will then be Fist of War, which ancestrally boosts the skill every 6 seconds for that super slam. With this, you already have a very easy clear towards the King of the Mist, and you have to take him down to unlock the Wyvern, because you need a tier 3 skill. However, you're not going to straight away go for Wyvern, because your first tier 3 skill is Pounce, and in order to unlock the Wyvern form, you need to pick Wing Blast or Rolling Magma. Then you can finally choose Wyvern as your form and get the basic attack. However, Pounce is the ultimate skill for easy clearing. It jumps you forward, then you do a basic attack, and everything is dead. And if we're doing this with bear form in the beginning, you have your Maul, which is building up rage, then Pounce, Maul, Pounce, Maul, and you're consistently going to be fully raged up while you just jump into opponents with that boosted Pounce, you get your wolves around you, and you zoom forward. I actually made the mistake of going for Rolling Magma because I thought it's the smart thing to do, and then for the Wing Blast, and later I took Pounce. I was slower than you will be. Now, as you have Pounce, you don't need the Furious Slam anymore, because simply with Pounce and Maul, you're going to clear things out. That brings then the 2 supports, the Rapid Attacks and the Fist of War, over to the Pounce, and Furious Slam already leaves the fray. The Volcano is also not needed anymore. As soon as you get another tier 3 support, you want to go for the Wing Blast. And with the Wing Blast, you can finally choose the Wyvern form, and then put away the Maul for Rend. The Rend will get the rapid attacks, and it will also need a rage support gem, while your Wing Blast is going to get the impact shockwave, because it's going to heavy stun opponents, and also rapid attacks, otherwise it feels so slow. Now, Wing Blast, you're only using if you have someone primed for stun. Primed for stun is that little bubble above their heads, and if they're primed for stun, you have a chance to get a power charge, and if you then use Rend, you get lightning empowered. If you use Wing Blast against the boss to stun him, you 100% get 3 power charges, and that's 20 seconds of the super lightning wings. And this is actually now how you go through the areas. You pounce forward, then you Rend. If anything survives, you can still go for the Wing Blast or just another Rend. Look at how efficient it is versus the King of the Mist. We pounce on him, auto attacks until he's primed for stun, Wing Blast, lightning auto attacks, done. Easy GG. This gets us to your first spirit skill, which would be the Herald of Ash. Since the Pounce gets you forward, you land, boom, explosion, anything that survives, Herald of Ash, ignited, dies, and or you just do a Rend, which gives another ignite explosion and kills whatever is left standing. Item-wise, make sure to get your flat damages. Doesn't matter if it's fire, lightning, cold, anything simply works. You don't have to go for max physical. Wherever you get some flat damage on, grab it. Then, as you kill the Executioner, you get the final piece of the combo, and that would be your tier 5 gem, Devour. Devour makes your area clear so much better. Lunge forward, eat a corpse, regenerate health, and get power charges. Now what happens is you're going to pounce and already kill someone or prime them for death. Devour, instant lightning on your Rend, which brings you forward into the next pounce with a lightning Rend, destroying everything. Devour again, jump forward, lightning Rend. It just keeps continue being this, because every Devour gives the power charge, that refreshes the Rend again, that allows you to pounce, on and on you go. The only support you want to have for Devour is rapid attacks. Otherwise, the animation can feel clunky and you might abort it as you're lunging for the bite. It does sound a little bit too simple to be true, but watch me fighting Count Geonor. It's really hit him with your attacks until he's primed for stun and then finish him off. For this, we have to go into the right passive skills though. We're going to start at the bottom with increased attack and spell damage and move all the way to the Guardian of the Wilds for even more extra damage of a random element. Then you're actually taking the life regeneration and the skill speed nodes. They're so important because otherwise the druid just feels cumbersome. Then you mostly have to take intelligence nodes, might have to go for the one or the other dex node to actually fulfill the requirements of your skills, which gets us further upwards than all the attack damage into the next node here for strength, dexterity, int, whatever you need. Most likely going to be int. And what you want to reach is the Bear's Roar, because it says increase stun buildup if you have shapeshifted to an animal form recently. That recently refers to also swapping between animal forms. So if you go for pounds into Wyvern, that's swapping animal forms. And therefore, if you every 4 seconds go between these forms, you're fine. It works perfectly. This brings us to Act 2, and here we're adding a few tricks to the build. First thing you want to do with a tier 2 support is get stun in instead of rage on your rend, because now you get more stun build up. You're going to have stun 1, not stun 2. You also want to replace your rapid attacks 1s for rapid attacks 2s, and the rage can go over to the Devour. Now you can see all my skills have already 3 slots. That's because the Temple of the Vaal gave me insane upgrades. And the best support gem you can use on Pound's bonus would be Momentum. After moving at least 2 meters during a single use, it's 40% more damage. I did also experiment around with a Crater support, but since I'm not using other slam skills, I can't get the fissures to pop more and more. It's still fun to use the Crater, however the Momentum should straight be better. And now it's time to bring the Bear back into the Wyvern form with the Ferocious Roar. If you pick up a tier 7 skill gem, you want this attack for boss fighting, because we want to get an enemy stunned or primed for stun. This means with a Ferocious Roar, you're going to empower at least 2 attacks, swipe, swipe, build up more stun, do massive more damage, and then get lightning empowered again to Ferocious Roar and make your lightning empowered swings even stronger. The Ferocious Roar works very well with a tireless support. This allows you to get even more attacks out of it, and you want to have Armor Demolisher because the empowered attack breaks armor. And this leads to, with 2 swings of the Wyvern's Rend, often to you straight up breaking the armor in the enemy and just doing more damage. Now, does this work for sending? Yes, pretty damn well. Make sure that you don't engage things by walking to them. You're going to jump on them. Then again, Devour, make sure to get your Lightning Rend, rinse and repeat. The jumping, the pouncing, actually helps you get through traps as well. So it's going to make the Trials of Sekimus extremely easy, and then your damage skyrockets. Since we're sending into a Shaman, and this gives us the elemental damage 12% bonus, and enemies in your presence have exposure. They just have minus 10% lightning, fire, frost resistance. Perfect, and we gain 10% of damage as extra damage of a random element. This has you surprisingly ignite enemies the whole time while you're just slashing away at them. And before you ask, even if you have an opponent that you can't stun, you're going to do tons of damage. I mean, this is the Titan. You can't get the Titan stunned no matter what you do. Kinda. That being said, with a Ferocious Roar, your Rends and your Pounces, you're still easily getting him down. For your passives, you want to get more attributes up here, most likely intelligence, then 10% increased damage, and we want to build up simply more rage, and every 10 rage also grants 12% increased physical damage. That's nasty. That's another 36% physical damage. And now you get to make a decision, because technically it would be best if you rush all the way upwards to the bonus stun build-up node here, with also the extra fire damage and the bonus armor. However, I think what you should do is, and what I didn't do, we should go for this attribute node for the bonus intelligence, and then pick up stun, 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 and more damage against heavy stunned enemies. Why are we picking this? Because it makes the Jamanra fight so much easier. I beat him without the node. However, as you can see on his stun bar, it doesn't really move that far forward. You're doing great damage, no problem. But with that stun node, it would just be so much more efficient, because your lightning is where the real damage comes from. The good part is, he can't just kill you. I mean, you're quite tanky at that given point. He doesn't even trigger his second phase with a tiny ghost below him. You got this covered. In Act 3, we finally then make shit hit the fan. First, you're going to finish the Jungle Ruins with the Venom Crypts, and grab yourself the bonus stun threshold from Survey. You don't actually need the mana regeneration. Then your tier 9 skill gem will be Oil Barrage. And Oil Barrage gets multi-shot plus Ambrosia. You can also put in Burgeon instead of multi-shot if you feel like the casting of it is too slow. That being said, you should have 3 slots activated here, as the elites in the beginning at the Sandswept March will give you another Jeweler's Orb. Now, what makes Oil Barrage so good? It says consuming a power charge makes it go lightning boom. This brings us for normal map clearing still to the pounds into the Rend Devour combo. If you now though meet an elite while doing this, you can go for the pounds, Devour, and then go for your Oil Barrage to completely obliterate the guy. If there's anyways a big gathering of mobs of enemies, just Oil Barrage at them as you have a power charge and everything will die. You can swivel the beam around. And for bosses, you pounce on them, hit them, prime for stun, Wing Blast into Oil Barrage instant finish. Every single boss in Act 3 is just going to get Oil Barraged, and Oil Barraged. They don't stand a chance against you. The skill is illegal. Grinding your games, Mark, Jonathan, how did you let this in the game? As you then level up far enough, Rend will also finally unlock the 3rd slot. And I personally think that Magnified Area might be quite nasty on it, because later in Act 4, you're going to have enemies stacked on top of each other, and you might simply not reach anymore with one Rend. We get pounds, boom, into the Rend, and then lightning empowered slash them all down. Then it's up in us, the Temple of Chaos. And I was lucky, I got the Chimera as an opponent, and it was absolutely not a problem. Now you're going to say, Pony, it's finally time to take the Apocalypse, and it's not. I tried it. I really tried it. I even went for weapon swap points, and I picked up the spell damage, and I tried to make sure that I take up here the Rage also applies to spell damage. You just don't have enough points, enough weapon swap points to make it work in the beginning. This is for level 65 plus, potentially. So what I recommend is take either Elemental Resistance, together then with a Reactive Growth, or go for bonus defense plus the Wisdom of the Magi, on top of the Turning of the Seasons. But it's definitely not worth it to go for Apocalypse, I'm sorry. Early at least. Skill point wise, it's going to be a very interesting jump because we're moving upwards here with even more intelligence nodes. At this point, I mostly have intelligence nodes taken. And then you're going to go for the increased damage while shapeshifting. We get more stun build-up with the Spirit of the Bear. Then we get increased armor and armor elemental damage cover-up. Plus, here in the middle, we go for gain 8% of damage as extra fire damage. By the way, make sure to take the right node and not the left node, because the armor bonus plus the armor elemental damage combo is just too good to not have. After you have this node knocked out and you have more points, we want to move down this branch here to the intelligence nodes, and we want to get bonus attack speed for me and the minions. We don't care about the minions. However, we still have the wolves all the way with us. Then bonus attack speed, and we get increased damage plus movement speed too. It's actually like a really nifty node that just works really well for you, even though it is a minion node. One thing I forget in Act 3 is your second spirit skill, and I personally choose Barkskin. Barkskin says when hit by an enemy, gain armor equal to 30% of the energy shield lost. Now the Wyvern form itself has an inherent faster energy shield recharge. You can see that here. While in Wyvern form, you gain faster start of energy shield recharge. This, together with a Barkskin and some energy shield, has you nicely bonus armored up. Right now I'm sitting here at 61% base, and I just get more and more. Also, as soon as we have the Oil Barrage, you stop using the Ferocious Roar, because the Ferocious Roar does not work with the Oil Barrage, and it's just something that slows you down instead of speeding you up. Now you're going to think this is slowly going to stop working in Act 4, and it can't be that good anymore. But you're wrong. It just keeps being amazing, especially since there's a new talisman type that you're getting in Act 4. And that would be Voltfang Talismans. They have inherent stats like increased magnitude of shock you inflict. And they always come with a portion of lightning damage. Look at these bad boys here. I mean, that's actually a really crazy one. They're amazing. They will make you so much stronger. This is one I randomly crafted. Yeah, it is crazy. And it also does crazy damage against Act 4 bosses. However, Act 4 is also the timing where you finally get the most amazing skill. And that would be with level 52, the Flame Breath. Now, you don't actually need the Flame Breath for anything until the end game. And I'm also not level 52 yet, right? I made it to 48. That being said, I would now play all the way to the end of the acts with what we have been doing. The Wing Blast, the Devour, the Pounce, the Rend. The Flame Breath is then something you want with 3 slots unlocked and all the perfect supports to make it go super good. However, that's something then for the part 2 of this guide, but I still have the final passive points for you. This is where you stop with Among the Hordes. Then you're going further down and you pick up more maximum rage. I'm sitting at 60 rage right now. That's actually crazy. That's a lot of bonus damage. And we actually get quite some rage on melee hit, so we build this up really quick. Then we get the increased physical damage here with a massive increased physical damage on the final node. What are now my next nodes going to be? What am I planning to do? There's up here an interesting node that gains 8% of damage. That's extra lightning damage on top of what we have been doing. But also at the bottom here, next to the rage node, you get the warrior nodes that give melee damage at close range. The more damage I deal, the more stun I'll deal, then the faster I get my Wing Blast to go for my Oil Barrage and delete the boss. It's all about getting that stun really quick. For this, we have the opportunity to just take the node next to the Among the Hordes with a bonus stun buildup as well and 15 strength. Very useful. Again though, this will end up in the part 2 of the guide where we then go for 65 and beyond as we also play that on the live stream. And by the way, if you're interested in actually watching the live stream, how we put this all together, I'm going to put it right here and wish you a great, fantastic rest of your day. Take care.